Hi, I'm Mike Thompson. In this video, I'm going to take a stab at making my very first expensive gift box. Now, when I went to size this box and kind of plan it all out, I've got it such that it's not so small that you might lose it, but it's also not ridiculously larger than the thing that it's meant to hold. Let's say you want to put, I don't know. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this out of two different types of wood, and we're going to put a scroll saw top on it. I've got this piece of old walnut from a leftover project I'm going to use. I'm going to plane this down to 1/4 inch so that the walls aren't too terribly thick. This is currently at 3/4, so I'm going to resaw it down the middle, and then I can get two pieces for the price of one, and then I'll have enough stock left over to plane it down. The top that's going to show through the scroll saw work is going to be made out of some sort of tree from my wife's house that she grew up in. It was quarter sawn. I've now since resawed it into several different chunks. I'm also going to put colored splines made out of this in the corners. And so let's get going. Here we go. The expensive gift box. Yes, I can. Okay, well, knowing now that I can resaw these pieces accurately enough, I'm going to go ahead and do that again and resaw it one more time so that I can get 4 pieces, which of course will make the perimeter of my box. For a rough saw, that's not too terribly bad. So we'll go from there. So let me repeat what I just did, and then we'll go on to the next step.
Got my little thumb block back here to push it. Well, that didn't quite come out vertical. I guess I should have put my resaw blade in, but it really won't matter for this. Alright, I've got some double stick tape here. I'm going to stick these to my planer board, like so. And hopefully this holds. Now I'm just running this through a few times. I've taken off a 64th at a time to try it. Oh. Well, it did not work. So I'm going to have to use some stronger tape. Darn it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I got this tape at Walmart. This is like I had a T-Rex on the front. This stuff is like that sticky stuff that holds magazine inserts in. It kind of feels like that. But I think this is going to work. Oh yeah, that works. Okay. I actually don't think I'm going to need to do the... Ooh, that doesn't want to come off. There we go. Now I probably... Nope. There's no way I can reuse that tape. These 6 I know I'm planing across the grain, but since I'm doing it a 64th at a time, it's really not a big deal. And it's the only way I could get them all to fit on this board at the same time, so... It seems to be working. Now I'm just trying to take off the very corner of this. So this first cut on each is not really that precise. Doesn't have to be. A little more. There we go. Those look good. Now I'll do the other sides. Those do have to be precise. I'm getting ready to cut my slots here and using this scrap piece as my gauge for positioning and depth. Alright, you can see my slots there, about a blade's width from the, or excuse me, a piece of wood's width from the end. Now I got to set my fence over so that I can cut the other side of this dado. And I'll use my trusty little cutoff here as my gauge to set my fence. And then of course move this and triple check it. Would that be a 6x check or a 9x check? I don't know. That looks pretty good though. If I set that, yeah. I like that. So we're going to do that many more times. Here we go.
All right, let's... Oh my. That's too tall. That's way too tall. Isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't need to be that deep. So yeah, I'm gonna go cut it down though. That's way too tall. I don't want to just sit the, if I do a rabbet in the bottom, I have more leeway in the shape and positioning of my bottom piece. Whereas otherwise I have to cut one precisely the internal dimension of this, and then it's only glued on by the edge. And of course the dado would be the strongest. But I'm going to do a rabbet on the edge. So let me go cut one of those. How deep? What's going to be my bottom? This piece will be my bottom. So it'll be that deep. So let me go do that and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my rabbet cut in the bottom. Obviously now I have to cut this piece to size. It is slightly deeper than the thickness of this wood, so that I don't have to worry about this thing warping and then not sitting level or something like that. It's maybe a 32nd deeper than the thickness of my bottom panel. So I can now do a little bit of math here. I can measure the inside of this and then add the thickness, or nearly the width of the rabbet there. So no matter what I do, I can't get rid of this knot from this side's better, so this side will be the inside. Although if I put the pillow in, you'll never see the inside. So I don't know. But yeah, that knot's always going to be there. I'd rather have this end, but this end is the shorter one. And so since I can't get rid of the knot, I might as well use this other end of the wood. And so we'll cut our 3 3/4 square from this side, because the knot's just not going away. $136. $136. Okay. Hey, look, it came out square. No surprise. Let's go see how this thing fits. Perfect. Okay. Do I trust the fence or not? Maybe I do. Well, no, because I can't get the... Well, here, if I do it this way and flip it around, maybe I can trust the fence. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, let me cheat this way just a tad. Here we go. think that's going to work. Okay. I'm going to use my clamping trick here from one of my videos past. I'm going to tape my corners like this. This tape will absolutely release, though, obviously. Okay, I may put my band clamp on that. We'll see. I probably don't need it. Okay. I know that it sits flush because it sits on my flat piece of wood that I've used for planing. Now I can flip it over and I can insert the bottom piece. So I'm thinking this knot's pretty ugly. In case I don't put a liner in it, I want this face inside, so we're going to go this way. Perfect. And you can see how that sets down just a tad below the surface. You can see that? We're just beneath the surface. Okay. Okay. Well, that was hole number 1. Now I'll switch and do a different hole. That's pretty darn awesome. Now I don't know how I'm going to get those. Maybe I don't. Let me see something. If this is the bottom, I don't have to sand that. I do like this side better. This side does need to be the top. So I'll sand it. Here in the vise, I've got my spline jig gluing up. And then here's the sled portion of my spline jig drying. I've got 2 clamps there, arranged in such a way to provide downforce on those 2 triangles. Okay, my spline jig is finally dry. Just this. I'm going to set my box in there, and I'm going to use that to set the blade depth. I don't want the blade to pierce the inside of the box, really. So we're going to go about that deep right there. That looks pretty darn good. Okay, so I had to chisel the little corners off because I want to leave my splines in there at full depth to give it a lot of extra strength. Not that it really matters, but that way that slides over there nicely. And then that piece that I just cut is going to go there, but you can see my door is a little long. It's going to sit like this. So I need to trim probably another half a blade's width off of this far end. So let me do that. Oh wait, that's the end with the chamfers. No, that's the end it needs to be from, so that's the end I got to do.
tell you right now that my chamfers are no longer large enough, so I need to go chisel those out a little more. Be right back. And now I'm just riding as close as I can to the box without obviously marking it up with my blade. I absolutely don't want to let my blade hit the box. So I'm staying off maybe a 30-second here and just eyeballing it because I don't trust my fence well enough to... and if my blade does start to wander, then I can't fix it. Whereas this way I can. That looks pretty good. Yeah. This one here is 150 grit to sand down my splines. That looks pretty darn good. I'll do a little more sanding and then we'll go from there. Test this. Yep, that's pretty nice. I like that. Got to sand that though because it doesn't match yet. And then I stepped up to 320 grit, and then all the way up to 600 grit. So just 3 sanding steps. But this wood's pretty hard, so it worked really quickly. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, that looks amazing, so we're going to do that all over. Bonus points if you can identify the movie in the background. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Set it like this, and when these surfaces dry, I'll flip it over and do the inside. I'm not going to do the bottom of this. There's no sense in doing that. And this kind of conceals that blade burn from right there. Yeah, this looks really darn good. I think she'll be really happy with it. Well, she doesn't even know that it's coming, but... And get in there with the brushes to get all the little edges. Okay. If we have a look inside here, you can see my 2 foam pillows that I gift wrapped in red satin fabric. There's plenty of space at the top and the bottom for necklaces and things. Now, I'm a stickler for symmetry, so I bought her 2 wedding rings and then simply slot in between the 2 foam pieces. Hot glue holds the red satin onto the foam, and the foam isn't glued to the box, just in case I want to change the configuration in the future. I'm sure she's going to love this. I don't consider myself a woodworker, but this is something you can definitely do yourself. Just don't be afraid to try. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Mike Thompson, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.